healing attachment issues. We're going to do some exercises together for healing attachment issues. But just briefly, for anyone who is new to attachment issues or needs a refresher, I categorize attachment issues in really two categories. You have secure attachment and you have insecure attachment. Now, in the insecure attachment, there are multiple categories, three main ones: the anxious or preoccupied, the avoidant or dismissive, and the disorganized or fearful avoidant, which I'll explain what those are. But it's important to understand that these are all just insecure attachment. And insecure attachment means that you have maladaptive ways of connecting with others, or more so sabotaging your connections with others as a result of the way you were brought up in your youth. So it could be that a caregiver was not kind, or that a caregiver was abusive, or that a caregiver was unstable, but it changed the way that you tend to attach with people according to this attachment theory. It's important to note, though, and I need you all to understand, whatever you tend to identify with now as your attachment style, that's not a life sentence. It's not like if you have an attachment style and you identify that that's your attachment style and that's the way that you are and that's the way that you're going to be for the rest of your life. It doesn't work that way. Actually, you'll find that throughout your lifetime, depending on who you're dealing with and what your situation is, you will vacillate between being anxious or avoidant, preoccupied, and disorganized, and so on. So let me explain really briefly what these different attachment styles are. The one that you want to be, and where we're going to help everyone move to through our exercise today, is securely attached. A secure attachment is a core belief of I am lovable and others are safe. I can find safe connections with others. I can find dependability in my relationships with others. Individuals with this style are comfortable with closeness, but they're also comfortable with independence. They don't need to be in a relationship, but when they are in a relationship, they feel calm, happy, well adjusted. They trust others. They regulate emotions well. They form healthy, lasting relationships. And when a relationship falls apart, they don't become bent out of shape or lose sight of what their worth is. They simply recognize that relationships come and go, and it's probably for the best that we're no longer together. So theorists believe that this may have been formed because their caregivers were consistently responsive and emotionally attuned and safe. But even if you didn't have those safe caregivers, we're going to help you to move toward having that secure attachment today. The insecure attachments have three different types: the anxious, the avoidant, and the disorganized or fearful avoidant attachment. The anxiously attached person, also called preoccupied, has a core belief of I'm not enough and others may abandon me, kind of as a result of me not being enough. These individuals crave closeness, but they fear rejection and abandonment. They often feel insecure, overly sensitive to relationship cues, and seek frequent reassurance. Caregivers were probably inconsistent and sometimes nurturing, sometimes unavailable. So they're anxious, constantly in between, wanting the closeness, but fearing the rejection and the abandonment. On the other side, you have the avoidance or dismissive avoidance. Their core belief is I can't rely on others and I don't need them. I can only rely on myself. And so an avoidant values independence. They value their personal freedom over having a relationship and downplay the importance of relationships. They may suppress their emotions. They may not be in touch with their emotions. They may feel uncomfortable with your feelings and emotions at a certain point and uncomfortable with intimacy. So they become very distant in their relationship emotionally. It becomes hard to connect with them. It's understood that maybe their caregivers were emotionally distant, unresponsive, or discouraged vulnerability. Maybe their caregivers were overly smothering, which made them feel like they need to break away from this. That's the avoidant attachment. The disorganized or fearful attachment has the core belief of, I want connection, but it's dangerous, so I'm scared. And these individuals experience a push pull dynamic of wanting that closeness, but fearing the closeness. And their relationships are often confusing and overwhelming, and trauma is often involved. It's a very strong push pull dynamic. They're ultimately sabotaging their relationships with their push pull dynamic. And this is formed because caregivers were frightening, abusive, or deeply inconsistent, creating both fear and longing. So that's just a brief overview of the attachment styles, and you can definitely learn more about this in the course that is dropping today on Inside Healing School. I'll talk more about that later. But whatever insecure attachment you may find yourself having, or issues with relationships that you find yourself having, whether they're platonic relationships like friendships, or if it's romantic relationships, it's coming down to your belief system and the way that you tend to behave. So it's your beliefs and your behaviors. So let's go in and let's look at some of these beliefs or ways of thinking and alter them and recognize what could be off about them. Okay. So all insecure attachment styles, for instance, have this belief: I'm not good enough to be loved, or it's common amongst many. So many of you have had this belief or have this right now. I'm not good enough to be loved. So as an exercise, we're going to go in and change the belief to something that would be beneficial instead of detrimental. Because when you believe I'm not good enough to be loved, that's actually detrimental to your life, detrimental to your relationships. It's not going to help you. It's not actually totally true. It's actually not true at all, right? So how do we do this? How do we get into the wise part of our mind in order to change this way of thinking? The best way to do this is to play, what would I tell my daughter if she were to say this to me? So if your daughter were to come up to you and say, I'm not good enough to be loved, referring to romantic relationships or referring to friendships outside of her relationship with you, what would you say to her? Perhaps you might say something like, of course you're worthy. You're worthy simply because you exist. You were born worthy. All people are worthy of love. And you're a person, so you're worthy of love as well. I love you. And the way someone treats you, or whether or not someone rejects you or abandons you, that doesn't determine your lovability. Would you probably say something like that? Absolutely. What did we just do? We flipped the thought. We found a more adaptive way of thinking. So what we just named there, what we would tell our daughter, is the way that we should talk to ourselves. It's detrimental and unacceptable to tell yourself or to believe, I'm not good enough to be loved. The way that you need to talk to yourself from now on, and what you need to believe, is the same thing that you would teach your daughter. That is healing. That is self-parenting. And we need to care for ourselves. Let's take another example. I'll help you through this one as well. And then I'm going to allow you guys to give me the answers as a part of this exercise. So the thought would be, eventually everyone leaves. Eventually everyone leaves. Very dark, very pessimistic, very fatalistic, making you afraid to go into relationships. What would you tell your daughter if she presented this to you? You said eventually everyone leaves. In other words, there's no point to having a relationship. Nobody will be there and stay there. You might say to her, well, some people may leave, but others may stay for a while and they may be caring and they may be loving. It's normal for relationships to have a temporary nature to them. Most relationships will be that way, but some will last for a long time. If someone is the right person for you, is well connected to you, then you'll probably find that that connection will be stronger and last a lot longer. So maybe don't be worried about the ones that leave. Just put your focus on the ones that stay. Perhaps you would say something like that. So now we're accessing our higher wisdom. But remember, we need to change our beliefs to the new way of thinking. This is an exercise that you can do all the time. And we're going to practice creating the neural pathways right now together. Because when we have these thoughts, we need to practice overturning the thoughts by asking, well, what would I tell my daughter? Or respectively, if you would like, what would I tell my son? For some of us guys would probably prefer that. Are you ready to begin? Let me give you the next one. If they really got to know me, they leave. Or if they really knew me, they would leave. Detrimental thought. Go ahead and write in the comment section what you would tell your daughter if she came at you with that maladaptive, detrimental way of thinking about relationships. If they really knew me, they'd leave. The right ones won't. Very good. Some people leave because they don't like the mirror you hold. Very true. Very true. If they really knew you, they would stay. If they knew you, they love you because you are a good person and you have innate goodness. Very good. Very encouraging. If they leave, that's their loss because you are lovable. How do you know? I know you and I'm not going anywhere. Very good. If they knew you, they love you. And those that leave are not for you. You'll make new friends. Very good. That's a key thought there. If they do leave, then they're really not for you because one of the prerequisites to be your friend is that they are loyal and they do stick around and they do like the authentic you. So you don't want to have to put on a false self or a mask for people, right? So you want to be able to just be yourself. You want them to be able to get to know you. And whether they stay or not is not the important thing. The more important thing is that you were presenting yourself as authentic. You were really being yourself. And then whether they stay or not is just another indication of whether or not they qualify to be your friend. Because someone that wouldn't stay with the real you, there is no loss there because they wouldn't qualify to be your friend, right? We would never want to change the way we act to try to keep someone in our life. Very good, guys. There were more. I didn't get to them all, but keep participating and I'll be able to get to yours on the next one. The next example is this detrimental way of thinking. Love always ends in pain. How can we change that thought around? Or what will we tell our daughter if she told that to us? Lisa says some relationships, while based in love, are only meant for a season, not a lifetime. Christian says the right kind of love will never end, much less in pain. Very nice. Very nice. Every pain teaches us something different, and pain isn't always bad. It's a teacher. Very true. Not everything that hurts us harms us. Not everything that hurts us harms us. Pain and love may be inevitable sometimes. Keep your heart open. Very good. Forcing love can cause pain. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. This is a temporary feeling. This too will pass. You'll find love again. Good. You're giving love to someone is never a loss. It shows who you are and you can learn from it. Absolutely. Very wise. Giving birth was so painful, yet the result was so wonderful. Great illustration. Great illustration. Great illustration. Yeah, when we have these attachment issues, we're afraid to love sometimes because we're afraid of the pain, right? This person says the pain tells you about your capacity to love. Yeah, because when we love deeper, the pain could be deeper. Yeah. When we're loving, we're making ourselves vulnerable to the other person. So we could get hurt, right? But not everything that hurts us actually harms us. In reality, the pain that happens throughout a relationship could lead to the relationship actually building up and growing stronger. Could lead to us learning lessons and getting a better relationship in the future. Very true. And also we can survive a little bit of pain. We can survive. We're going to vet, be careful not to just give it to anyone, but we recognize that it's a part of the playing field of love. That at times we'll be a little disappointed or make it hurt. It's okay. It's okay for us to make ourselves a little bit vulnerable to that potential pain. Very good, guys. How about this one? I don't matter to anyone. I don't matter to anyone. What could we tell our daughter, or how would you reason with someone who says, I don't matter to anyone? You matter to me. Yes, that's something we can tell to ourselves as well. I matter to me. I'm important. Yes, we need to validate our own importance. This statement is an invalidation of your own importance. Talking that way is abusive to the self. So we want to give ourselves instead validation. You are important. You're an important person. You matter to God. Very important. Very important. Sometimes when we do this, some of these ways of thinking are spiritual lapse. We go, nobody loves me. I don't matter to anyone. And there's God standing there like, ouch, shots fired. Like, I'm nothing. You have no one. Nobody loves you. You understand? Yeah. Lisa says God matters to you, and he's way wiser than any of us. Yeah. You do matter to me, and I love you. Yeah. And just the way we would say that to a child, we need to say that to ourselves. So the reality is we do matter because we exist, because we wouldn't be in existence if we didn't matter. And we could only not matter if we didn't exist. Our mattering is not about the opinion of the other person. Our mattering is intrinsic because we exist. We matter. We are important. And we are loved by someone higher than us. And we are loved by ourselves. And you have to tell yourself that. You say, I matter to me. I love you. You tell yourself that, just like you would tell your daughter or son that. Does that make sense? You have to recognize your own value. It doesn't matter what other people think of your value. However, if you were to try to make a list, you'd probably find that you have been loved and you have mattered to many people. Thank you, Paula. Absolutely. Absolutely. You matter to yourself. Very good, Lisa. It's an overgeneralization. Very good. Very good. Let's do another one. I have to earn love by being perfect. I have to earn love by being perfect. Detrimental, perfectionist, saying that love needs to be earned. I have to earn love by being perfect. What would you say to your daughter? These are hard for me. Stay in there. Keep working with us. We're rerouting the neural pathways. I need you to try your very best. Okay? Even if you just write them on a piece of paper, try your very best. You guys are doing really good. Lisa says, not true. Perfection is mental illness. That's right. That's right. Perfectionism is mental illness because that's something that doesn't exist in the human realm. We can't make perfection. So you can't be perfect to earn love. That's exactly correct. Just being me is enough for me to be loved. Yes, I am enough as I am. I don't have to try to be anything that I'm not. I don't have to try to overcompensate in some way. There's no such thing as perfection. Be who you are and love yourself. Then you will attract love. Very good. Excellent. Nobody is perfect, but you can be loved by loving yourself first. Yes, because if you love yourself, then you are loved, right? Because you are a person and you are loving you. Elizabeth, you earn love by being your authentic self. Perfection is unattainable. Perfection is unattainable. Perfection is unattainable. Being authentic is us being ourselves, but really, we don't even have to earn love because we're already inherently lovable, right? You are loved for who you are, not because of the things you do. Very good. You are art. Art isn't perfect. Very good. Beautiful, beautiful words. The right person will love you and accept you for being you. Excellent. There's no such thing as being perfect. Doing your best is more than enough. Excellent. Perfection is subjective. Perfection is boring. Good. Excellent, guys. Very good on that. So love doesn't require perfection, right? Just being present, just being honest, just being real. It's more than enough. More than enough. You don't have to earn anybody's love. You don't have to earn their love. If they don't freely give love, don't worry. Just be yourself. Live according to your values. Don't worry about earning a love from another person. That's a trap. As soon as you get into that, I got to try to earn their love. As soon as you get into that, you're already in a trap. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. How about this? Needing someone makes me weak. These are avoidance, feel this way. Needing someone makes me weak. What would you tell your son or daughter if they said that? Needing somebody makes me weak. I shouldn't have to need anybody. We're social creatures. Connecting with someone makes you healthy and strong. Very good. It can be of benefit for us to connect with others, right? To lean on others sometimes, to get help from others. Very good. It takes strength to need people. It does take strength to ask for help. It does take strength to say, "Hey, I need help." Yeah. We all need someone to bring us back in a storm. Yeah, sometimes we all will need a little assistance from another person. I have needs and that's normal, but all I need is myself. Yeah, it is normal to have needs. It's acceptable that you have needs, right? We don't have to feel condemned or condemn ourselves over the fact that we have needs. Independence is a good trait, but it's okay to receive help sometime. Absolutely. 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 It makes you human. We all need. Absolutely. Absolutely. Very good. Good, guys. All right, let's turn up the heat here. We're going to do anxious, preoccupied attachment thoughts. The maladaptive thought is they haven't texted me back. What if they're mad at me? Flip it. All of you have felt this. Almost all of us have felt something similar. We start getting anxious. We're not getting that message back. Oh, what if I said something wrong? What if they're mad at me? What would you tell your daughter? That's how we flip it. We think we parent ourselves. What would you tell your daughter in this situation? You'd say, be patient. Think positive thoughts. Boy, if that isn't key. Yes. What if they're not mad at you? Good way to flip it on her. Maybe they're just busy. Yeah, let's make some positive suggestions, some neutral suggestions. Maybe they're just busy. Think about the times you were busy and you couldn't text back. Very good. Empathy. They probably fell asleep. Yeah, could be something neutral. Yeah. Stop thinking the worst. Absolutely. They could just be busy right now. Absolutely. Very good. I like be patient. That was really important. Um, don't anticipate the feelings of others. Trust they will communicate. Beautiful, Sierra. Don't anticipate the feelings of others. Let's let them tell us how they feel before we decide how they feel. That's great. That's really important, isn't it? Because we do the calculations and the mental gymnastics. Oh, you said this and didn't say that, and it's been 10 minutes since you texted me, so you must be mad. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's relax. Let's not get so much into someone else's head, and let's let them tell us how they feel. Let's let them communicate. If there's a problem, it's their job to communicate us to us and let us know for the most part. So we don't have to conjure up all these calculations to try to figure that out. Very good, guys. Nice work with this exercise. They might be dealing with their own stuff. You're not psychic. You don't know what they're doing. What he or she is doing is irrelevant. Do something different. Change your brain. Yeah. Another big thing, get refocused on your purpose. What we're doing right now, we're not focusing on our purpose. Caught in the act. You're focused on their mind, their heart, what they're thinking, what they're doing, and are you getting validation from them? Are you getting dopamine from them? That is not following your purpose, ma'ams and sirs. Get refocused. So as soon as that happens and you realize that connection is like temporarily severed, you're waiting 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, 3 hours, 5 hours, and it's like, oh, I'm not getting anything back from them. Hey, disconnect emotionally to get refocused on your purpose. Ask yourself, what am I supposed to be doing? What is my goals right now? What am I supposed to be accomplishing? Let me get focused on that. Let me pour my time and energy into that. That makes the time go by faster. And then when they reconnect again, you're able to be cool. Oh yeah, no problem, no problem. I understand you get busy, even though you were kind of thinking, oh my God, it's over. But you're able to be a lot cooler because you were focused on other things. Might even take you a minute to get back to them once they do hit you because you might not even notice because you got refocused on writing that book, right? Very good. Let's do another one. I need them to reassure me or I'll lose control. This is an anxious, attached, maladaptive thought. I need them to reassure me. I need to get reassurance from them. Otherwise, I'm going to lose control. I'm not going to be regulated. How would we how would we help our daughter with this? What would we say to you? What would you say to your daughter? Validation comes from within. Very wise. Very wise. Reassure yourself. Reassure you first. Reassure yourself. Let's talk through it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can get reassurance from thinking positively. Be reassured that you're a good person. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we think that we're supposed to go and get that reassurance from someone else. But actually, what we need is to reassure ourselves they will never fill our void for us because we need constant validation and reassurance and soothing. We need it constantly around the clock. No human can do that for us except us. You're the only one who can constantly reassure yourself. So healing is learning to give it to yourself all the time. And that's what we would tell our daughter. We'd say, young lady, reassure yourself. Take reassurance from me. But in this case, you are her. So say that to yourself. You say, I'll reassure you. And then give yourself reassurance. It's okay. You're a good person. You did good. You did what you could. It's understandable. Give yourself reassurance. And then you don't feel that need anymore. You don't have that gaping hole of needing reassurance from another person. You can ask them why. Why do you feel like you need reassurance from this other person? You can say, no, you're enough on your own. What is it that they say or do that gives you validation, and how can you give that to yourself? Yeah, it's a great question. Great question. Very good, guys. You need to look into yourself. Very good. Excellent. Let's do another one on this anxious attachment here. Let's do one more together. Oh, here's a good one. I'd rather settle for this than be alone. You're in that maladaptive relationship, and you go, yeah, I'd rather settle for this than to be alone. You're in that abusive relationship. That person's neglectful, not good enough, possibly cheating on you, not really showing up for you. And you say, I'd rather settle for this than to be alone. What would you do? What would you say to your daughter? If you settle for something, you're missing out on something amazing. hmm Being alone isn't as scary as you think. Sometimes it's better to leave from the things, leave room for the things that feed you. Very important. Yeah. You're getting to the core of their issue. They're afraid of being alone. So afraid that they think that being in a relationship with someone that's harming them is better than being by themselves, but really they're just neglecting their own self and they're not caring for their self. They have to realize that being alone is not worse than being abused. Sometimes it's better to be alone than to be in a situation where you wish you were. Those relationships are not settling. Yeah. You tell them that they're sacrificing. Yeah. You tell them that that's bad for their health. Yeah. You deserve better. Yes. Do not undersell yourself. Yes. Think about your goals and what you really want in life. If that isn't what you have, then you need to move on. That's the best you can do for yourself. That's right. That's right. That's right. Very good. It probably asks you rather feel less than forever than find peace. Do you want to feel less than forever? Opportunity cost. Being alone isn't bad. Being with the right person leaves no room for the right one. That's right. You have to actually be alone in order to get the right relationship. But we go, well, I don't want to be alone. Well, then you can never get in a decent relationship, right? You got to get away from the wrong guy so that you can have the space to even accept the right guy if they were to come along. Lowering your bar to accommodate less, DOS to more. I don't know exactly what you're trying to say, but I probably would agree with you. No, I'd rather be alone than be neglected or feel like I was second choice. Very good, guys. People can only meet you when you're with yourself. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Excellent job, guys. So this is what we want to do. This is an exercise that we did together, but you want to do the same thing. You can do it on a piece of paper, write down some of your own maladaptive thoughts that are keeping you stuck, detrimental ways of thinking. And then just ask yourself, because it's hard to think of another way to think about it until you put this on someone else who's coming at you. We call that externalizing the voice. You put it on your child or a kid or somebody who's asking you for help so that you're in your mother mind, your father mind, the wise mind, and then you're giving them advice. And all of a sudden, you've noticed probably already that you're really good at giving advice, right? Your friends come to you for advice, your kids come to you for advice. But then when it's for your own stuff, you lock up. Why is that? Well, we need to make the connections. That's what we're doing today with the exercise. Keep doing this where we learn to flip. We learn to flip every situation from this is affecting me personally and I'm in my emotions to, well, here's the higher wisdom. Here's the higher mind on this. And we do that by pretending we're talking to our son or our daughter.